Yo, this is the AEW Fight for the Fallen post-show. Tonight, Chris Jericho beats Nick Gage in a bloody mess. Darby Allin versus CM Punk, and the Elite rise again. And the Super Chat's already jumping in during the intro. Good God almighty. Super Chats before the show. Super Chats during the intro. I haven't even had a time to introduce the show or Johnny North, and the Super Chat's already coming in. Thank you, Angelo. Says, what's up, everyone? What a fight for the fallen that was. And Brian Firth also dropped in a Super Chat saying, any update on the Veer Venus shirt? I'm working on the Veer Venus shirt. I think it's coming, but I need somebody to design a cool Veer Venus logo for us. But I think it's coming. John, I don't know if you know about Veer Venus.
I imagine it's something you guys talked about on Raw, I'm guessing.
Yeah, the Raw post show. Wait, you didn't watch the Raw post show on Monday? It was electric.
Yeah, I've stayed away from Raw for a little bit. It's nice to take a break from how bad Raw's been.
Yeah, but that's why you got to watch the Simon Brothers Experience on a Monday night. The brothers were in tow. We were rocking and we were rolling. We were kicking jokes. We were talking about Veer Venus, who lost on Raw this week. Or no, did he lose?
By DQ.
He lost. Yeah, he
DQ.
lost by DQ by getting himself kicked in the face with a chair. Shouldn't he know not to get kicked in the face with a chair? Anyways, no DQs on the show tonight. We had a big Super Chat battle between Angelo and Brian on Monday night. Angelo and Brian once again dropping Super Chats. Angelo is the leader. A lot of Nick Gage talk already in the chat I'm seeing. That's the big news out of this show tonight. I was on vacation last week, so we didn't really get to talk about Nick Gage and who he is and what he is. But we could talk about him now after seeing him wrestle. This is actually the second Nick Gage match in as many days for me. I watched the Zack Ryder match yesterday, and this was basically the same. I think if you've seen one Nick Gage match, you've seen them all. He's kind of like Ric Flair. You know, he's a routine wrestler. He did his little routine. He did his choke slam backbreaker thing. He did his thing where he takes the pizza cutter and he slices your head for every guy like Hulk Hogan used to do with posing for biceps. Nick Gage does it to every side by slicing his opponent's head with a pizza cutter. Didn't take long for the pizza cutter to get involved in the match. Nick Gage, most wrestling matches start out with a lockup. Nick Gage starts out by stabbing Chris Jericho in the arm with a pizza cutter. And we were on from there. Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's not really for me. I'm not super impressed with Nick Gage. I didn't think the match tonight was particularly good. It wasn't even shocking. It was, a Nick Gage match. Kind of a tame Nick Gage match, to be quite honest. If you saw the Zack Ryder match, this was basically the same thing. Nick Gage going to hit you over the head with light tubes. Nick Gage is going to take that light tube, the broken piece. He's going to stab you in the head a couple of times. You're going to be a bloody mess. Nick Gage is going to use that pizza cutter. He's going to do the pizza cutter thing. He's going to go through a big glass pane. Jericho Frankensteinered Nick Gage off the top rope through a big pane of glass. Glass breaks. Jericho then took a spine buster and a pile driver in the glass. Jericho was bloodier than Nick Gage, which, doesn't really make Nick Gage look impressive. When the old vet, Chris Jericho, the guy who's been there, done that, seems to take a bigger beating than you do, what have you really done? Jericho did wind up beating Nick Gage by smashing him in the head with a pile of light tubes and then hitting his back elbow for the 1-2-3. But after the pile of light tubes, why even the back elbow? It's just kind of adding insult to injury there. And that's kind of my problem with Nick Gage matches. It's like, well, once you start stabbing a guy, to give him a spine buster afterwards seems a little bit, weak. You've already stabbed the man. Why not just kill him at that point? Like, it's just odd. It's an odd way to do things. It's not really pro wrestling. You know, there's not a lot of wrestling involved. And the wrestling that he does do isn't very good. It's not very crisp. He doesn't move that great, you know? It's not my thing. I wasn't impressed with Nick Gage tonight. Not impressed. I hadn't really seen many Nick Gage matches. I saw him wrestle Green Phantom one time in like a triple threat that was, you know, all right. But I saw him wrestle Zack Ryder, and now I've seen him wrestle Chris Jericho, and there's not much there. I don't need to see him ever again. Do you? Are you in the MDK
No,
all day?
really, no, I'm not big on Nick Gage whatsoever. But if any positives you can take off from this match, it's just like how impressive Chris Jericho was. Like to take that beating. Like he doesn't need to take that beating, yet he went through all that, you know, for the people watching, you know, for us. So I give Jericho a lot of credit at his age to be taking that kind of beating, which he doesn't really need to take, but he took it anyways to kind of help sell the storyline. He's going through all these labors, like, you know, he's really showing that this is kind of, it's tough, and this is only step 2. He's still got step 3 next week.
Why the hell did he do this tonight? Like, why give the rub to Nick Gage? Why put himself through this? I mean, is it just to pop a rating? To help AEW? Like, why do this if you're Chris Jericho? You really do have to credit him, right? I mean, he had no reason to do that.
Well, when you think about it, Jericho at this point, I mean, he's done so much, right? So now it's like, what haven't I done?
Yeah.
And, you know, Nick Gage, as much as we aren't huge on Nick Gage, he does have a following. And a lot of people think Nick Gage is like a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this was something for Jericho to finally do, to say, like, you know what, I did this as well, you know, like out of all the other things that he's done in wrestling, he can also add that he was a part of that whole Nick Gage thing that went on, which is currently going on.
Yeah, the Nick Gage kind of wave. I mean, it may have reached its peak tonight, right? Like, let's be quite honest with Nick Gage. How big is he going to get? He's not getting bigger than what he did tonight, a main event of AEW Dynamite. I mean, there's no way he gets bigger than this. This is the peak. This is the Nick Gage wave, and this is it. This is the crest. It's going to crash down. The crash might be dangerous. Crash might be scary.
Really, I think Darkseid is what helped him peak in a sense, and like he's kind of riding that wave, and now, yeah, like that wave is slowly coming down now, but I mean, that's pretty good. He got to be on the main event, his first AEW show. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Maybe once in a while you bring him back for a gimmick match that makes sense. But
well, him and Moxley, I'm sure they could sell that on some sort of pay-per-view if they ever wanted to, but I'm not dying to see it. But again, there's a fan base for that. Sure, why not do that one day?
I guess. If he's still a hot name in pro wrestling. Angelo wants to know how old he is. He's 40 years old. Nick Gage. He's been wrestling apparently for 20 years. Yeah, he does look older. He just looks beat up. He looks mangled. He looks like life has kind of dealt him a bad hand, and things are not easy for him. It's not my kind of wrestling. You know, he's not... Bret Hart never had to get hit with light tubes. Bret Hart never had to use a pizza cutter. You know, when the pizza cutter is your first kind of move, it's like, what are you exactly? Yeah, I'm not a Nick Gage fan. The match itself wasn't really great. Jericho bled a lot. There were a couple spots where you're like, jeez. Here, JR during the match, though. Jim Ross was not impressed with this one. He didn't like it. You could tell.
It's not his cup of tea, without question. I was kind of scared, though, a bit when they put the glass on the chairs, because when you saw Jericho went for the Hurricane Rana, like it kind of moved a little bit, so I thought they weren't going to land that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully it landed okay, but worrisome because we saw an injury earlier in the night, so worried we see another one.
Yeah, but, as far as the match itself, it seemed to go off fine, the Jericho Gage match. No real issues, no real problems. It all kind of went off without a hitch. Jericho was bleeding, but that's kind of to be expected.
I think fans ate some glass, though. That's kind of too bad.
Yeah. Maybe a reason not to use glass in wrestling matches. A lot of firsts for AEW tonight. First time we saw people go through glass. I guess they went through like a glass coffee table at one point, didn't they? Moxley and Kenny?
The first show.
Right. But this was just a pane of glass set up between two chairs. First time we've seen light tubes in AEW. Hopefully the last. I just don't... I don't know, man. That CZW style of wrestling, that like super extreme, it's like, it's not for me. It's not for me. And I don't really see it as an art, really. I just see it as gore. But I'm not like a horror movie fan, I see it as kind of like death metal or... really horror movie, gory movies. Like, people that like that type of shit probably like Nick Gage. It's just not for me.
Yeah, I understand. The thing is, like, they built this properly in a sense where this was punishment for Jericho in a sense. He had to go through this trial.
Yeah.
So like, it made sense for that. But, I mean, it's not something I'd watch on a weekly basis. I mean, this is all Nick Gage does kind of thing, right? So it's not something I'd want to watch all the time, but in this case, it made sense for the story that Jericho had to go through this.
Yeah. It was cool. It got some buzz. It got people talking, and that's what you want, And I like that AEW takes risks like this. I just think this one was a little like, wasn't great. Wasn't my favorite one. But a lot of people do like Nick Gage. Like, we can't forget, he is very over. Like, that crowd that watched him beat Zack Ryder, like, those people absolutely love that guy. Quite an entrance he makes, when he's with his people in his type of arena. But tonight it was maybe not, what he does best. Big arena, big TV wrestling. MJF cuts a promo after Jericho beats Gage in the death match. MJF says that next week Jericho will have another labor, and to win the match, the stipulation will be he has to hit a top rope maneuver to win. And his opponent will be Air Juventud Guerrera, which is pretty cool. I like Air Juvi. I like that they're bringing people in. I mean, will the match with Juvi be great? I don't know. But, it's cool that they're doing it. It's different. The Shawn Spears match was the first labor. The Nick Gage match here, the second labor, far more interesting. You wanted to see what he was going to do. I probably shouldn't have watched the Zack Ryder match because after I saw that, I was like, oh, I see what this guy does. Yeah. And then I saw him basically do the same act with Jericho, and I was like, okay. And you knew it wasn't going to be more extreme with Jericho, but the third match here now, Juventud Guerrera, it's kind of fun. But I think it's less fun than the Nick Gage match, quite honestly. Even though I wasn't like a big fan of it, I think like Juvi, like, he's not hot right now in pro wrestling. They didn't make a Dark Side of the Ring about Juvi, although they could, but they just haven't.
Well, I met Juvi a little bit before the pandemic started, so it was kind of nice to see that he can still go in the ring. Like, he's still really fast. Like, he hasn't really lost a step whatsoever. So I'm actually really excited for that match. And I find it very interesting that in order to win, Jericho just has to hit a top rope move. Like, doesn't have to pin him, doesn't have to submit him. So they're kind of protecting Juvi in a sense.
I thought he had to hit a top rope move, like, and then a pinfall. Like, he's got to hit a frog splash to win.
Oh, that wasn't clear.
Oh.
But maybe you're right.
That makes more sense. Like, just hitting a top rope move, like, that seems weird. And then the bell rings. That seems odd. I hope they don't do that.
It's weird, but, this is what MJF puts stipulations with. So, I mean, we'll wait and see. It is kind of weird, but see what happens. But I'm interested because Hoovy can still go. So I think this could be a really good match.
Yeah. I like Hoovy. I've always liked Hoovy. Hopefully the match is good. Shout out to Douglas Hepburn, who was never a Hoovy fan. Loved it when Jericho ran the cruiserweights, though. Shout out to Doug Hepburn, Angelo Contagonis, members of the team. Don't forget to join, become a member. Click that join button beneath me here. And I saw Sasha Lagarde re-upped his membership, so thank you, Sasha, for staying with the team. And Brian Firth, I will get you that Veer Venus shirt, man. We are working on it. It's a tremendous gimmick idea. You know, Veer, who's just Jinder Mahal's random Indian goon, we want to call him the Big Veer Boski, Veer Venus. Turns out, in 1999, Val Venus went on a tour of India with WWF. He had sex with a lady because he's Val Venus, and the son came out as Veer, and he wanted to become a pro wrestler just like his dad to follow in his dad's footsteps. Also, he's got a huge dong. Veer Venus, the Big Veer Boski. That's the idea, John. Are you still there? Did you freeze out? You all right?
Yeah, I'm still here. It's just, he's kind of a plain kind of guy. You're trying to give him some personality. I get it, but I just don't think he could get into that kind of gimmick.
How dare you underestimate the power of Veer? How do you know? You ever heard him talk in your life? We've seen him, 3 weeks? You don't even watch Raw. Stop disrespecting Veer. Veer Venus.
I saw that show they did, that special, where they had all the wrestlers from... They haven't started NXT India yet, but I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, you didn't see that? It was like around Christmas time, I think they did that show. Do
you see the big joke WWE is trying to pull on the audience? They're doing a Queen of the Ring tournament, and they're going to have the final in Saudi Arabia, home of women's wrestling. Fucking WWE is the best.
They had a women's match there before, though.
I know, one time, and they had to cover up because they were dressed indecently in their normal wrestling attire. But it was totally cool for the men to be in their underwears. What's up, Saudi Arabia? You allow men to be in their underwears, but not the women? But I think they also are, against homosexuality. So, fucking figure your shit out, Saudi Arabia. You're either gay positive and you promote men in their undies, or you're, just figure it out. You should be also gay positive and women positive, but you seem to be negative on both, Saudi Arabia. Also, freedom of press. You don't seem too high on that. Fuck Saudi Arabia and the WWE for going there. We're talking about AEW. And CM Punk told Miz to go suck some blood money. What did he tell Miz at one point? Go suck more blood dick money or something?
Something like that. I don't remember exactly what the tweet was.
Oh, let's see. Saudi. I want to get the wording right because it was really... Go suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you fucking dork.
A lot of love there.
Yeah. This was after an episode of WWE Backstage. And Miz kind of made a joke about Punk. And then Punk tweeted, go suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you fucking dork. Wow. So I guess WWE wasn't going to get Phil Brooks to go to Saudi Arabia for them as a big surprise. I think AEW's got CM Punk. Seems like they signed him. They announced...
Well...
Yeah, hold on, John. I want to tell people what happened tonight if they didn't see it. AEW Rampage, The First Dance. at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Get it? The first dance, kind of like the last dance, United Center, Chicago, Michael Jordan. Get it? AEW Rampage, the first dance. Friday, August 20th at the United Center in Chicago. They announced this with Tony Schiavone on the stage just telling you that it's going to happen. Fans start chanting CM Punk. Then Darby Allin and Sting are interviewed backstage. I mean, Darby Allin's there. Sting is also there, but he's not talking. He's just standing there. Which, like, what a job by Sting. He must be getting paid so much to do nothing. It's fantastic. Good for him.
Millions.
I wish I was paid millions to do nothing. I'm not paid millions at all. It sucks. I would like millions. Somebody give me some millions. Stinger, you've had enough millions. Give me one, and then I'll stop making fun of you on YouTube. I mean, I'd quit YouTube, honestly. If I had $1 million, why would I do anything ever again?
They go quick, though. He's got kids.
Whatever. So Darby is asked about Chicago, and he's like, AEW is a proving ground to show that you are the greatest wrestler, and you have to prove yourself here, even when you think you are the best in the world. Get it? Get it? So Darby Allin versus CM Punk, pretty much confirmed, I think, at this point. August 20th, AEW Rampage in Chicago. I could see CM Punk debuting there. Punk versus Darby. I think that's going to be Punk's first feud in AEW, and I like it. I think they'll have a great match. Because Darby doesn't really have bad matches these days, so even if Punk can't wrestle anymore, you know, he's in there with Darby, who's one of the best wrestlers in AEW. Not many people are having, you know, home runs every time they're in the ring, but Darby Allin's one of those guys for AEW.
Well, I hope they confirm it, though. Because if it's the United Center, they kind of need a CM Punk because that's over 20,000 right there capacity. So you need a CM Punk if you're going to try to get even close to selling that out, I think. And if they don't deliver CM Punk after all this teasing where it seems like it is CM Punk,
they have to.
I think fans are really going to be like, it's going to be as bad as when the explosion didn't go off. People are pretty much going to tune out for a little bit.
You know, or they delay Punk's debut and swerve us, and Daniel Bryan shows up on August 20th. Because the fans would still pop for that. But I think in Chicago, they kind of want their man Punk, right? They want their hometown guy. I think they'll get Punk. It's happening, right? I mean, Punk and Bryan are going to AEW. It's pretty much confirmed.
Well, you hear, though, that plans might change, though, now. Because apparently COVID's back in the States now. So we'll wait and see what happens with them still going to Chicago. Because apparently SummerSlam...
It never went away.
Yeah, COVID is back.
It never left.
For a lot of people, they think it was gone, but now they have to bring back the mask for SummerSlam, apparently. Like, everyone has to wear a mask again.
Whoa. What?
You didn't see that? Vegas stated that now that they brought back the mask mandates.
Yeah, there's more mask mandates are coming back. Which to me, I'm like, why did they ever stop the masks? What happened there? Why no masks? We've always worn masks here, and more of our citizens in this country are vaccinated than theirs. At this point. It's weird, man. This whole... I don't even want to get to... I don't want to go into the COVID thing, because I have too many thoughts, and it's just like, I'm angry about it, you know? Because every time you think you're out of the woods, you're fucking not. Every time we think we have this solved, and we're going to be like, okay, concerts and shit are coming back. Wrestling's touring again. Shut down again. What the fuck?
Well, shut down. I'm just saying that maybe this, like Chicago, maybe New York, and maybe they just go back to Jacksonville. I might just go back to that again. So wait and see.
Ugh.
But it's not a good trend right now.
What a bummer, man. What a bummer. You go into full lockdowns again, people are going to go crazy. I don't understand. I'll go crazy. I'm going to lose my shit. Why did I get 2 shots in my arm? For what? Why did I get that shit? I thought I get my shit and I'm good. I can live life, no mask, no nothing. I'm back to, 2019 when there was no stupid fucking disease, virus, whatever the fuck it is. Fuck, man. Why did this shit I don't understand. I'm not a science guy at all. I don't give a fuck about the news or science or any of that bullshit. I want to talk about pro wrestling. But what the fuck, man? I'm just annoyed.
Well, just stay tuned.
We can't go back to wrestling without... It's mostly because I don't want to watch fucking wrestling in that fucking Thunderdome again. I can't go back to the Thunderdome, man. I can't do it.
It was that bad. I agree.
It was so bad. It's so much better now. It's so much better. They're actually trying. Even AEW's better, too, that they're on the road. It's a real crowd. Wrestling is so much better. It's been so much better in the past, 2-3 weeks. Hasn't it? Both companies. They can't fucking stop touring, man. They can't. I'll be so mad. Go back to those fake crowds, paid crowds, Thunderdome bullshit. No! Is it because not everybody's vaccinated, or is it something else? If everybody was vaccinated, 100%, in the States and the Canada, would we be still in this mess or not? I don't really know. Because you hear about people that are vaccinated that fucking get the shit too. So what the fuck? And no one I know has been able to explain any of this to me. It's well, you can get it, but you're not as sick, but you still could be sick. But when you got this shit non-vaccinated, you probably, a little bit sick, but not too sick. Sometimes you die and you're super sick on a ventilator or whatever, but, I don't fucking understand. Fuck, it makes me mad, this whole thing. Just when I think we're fucking out of it, it seems like we're not. Cases going up in places. Canada seems all right, though, right? It's just mostly the States. Are we doing okay here? John, you listen to the news. I think it's all lies, but what are the numbers saying?
Well, we're doing a lot better than the States. Like you already stated before, too, we have more people vaccinated here, fully vaccinated, than the States do. And that's kind of really bad when you think about it. They had the chance to get double vaccinated months ahead of us, and they didn't. So just the mentality is different, in Canada and the States. So,
goddamn, pal. I just hope that they can get their shit together and wrestling keeps touring. I don't want to see another lockdown, shutdown, whatever the fuck in the U.S. I hope it doesn't happen here too, but I don't know, man. I don't trust anybody. Stone Cold Steve Austin taught me right, man. DTA, don't trust anybody. I still don't. I don't trust anybody to do what the fuck they're supposed to do. I don't trust the government to do what the fuck they're supposed to do. I don't trust the media to do what the fuck they're supposed to do. It's all corporate. It's all lies. It's all, we could go real deep. It's all fucking capitalism that's fucking us, but that's another thing. Speaking of capitalism, Doug Hepburn drops a super chat, says, get vaccinated, jabronis. Yeah, I think that's probably the safe bet. It's what I did. It's what Johnny did. I think probably the safe bet to get vaccinated. But honestly, I don't want to be one of those guys who comes down on people's get vaccinated and fucking do your part. And it's fuck off, all right? The more you tell people to fucking do something, the more the people that haven't done it already are going to tell you to fuck off. This is what people don't understand. A lot of these people that got vaccinated, they just don't want to be told what to do. The people that haven't got it, they're just don't fucking tell me what to put in my body. And then you have all these campaigns telling you what to put in your body. It's just going to fucking make them say fuck you even more. All right? Shit. And then you have jabronis like Mako, who's oh, I don't believe COVID. It's all fucking lies. Well, you're fucked, Mako. Obviously it's real. If you don't think it's real, what the fuck are you thinking? Get it together. Everybody on the chat taking it seriously, but there's fucking always one, And that always one, you know what I mean? It's that fucking always one that drags everybody else down. You know? It's that type of fucking mentality that keeps us still fucking in this shit where we gotta be careful, you know? Oh, I don't believe it. I'm not gonna fucking take care of myself. Well, fuck. I mean, you're gonna wind up getting it and going to the hospital and dying. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks. Oh, well.
You know, maybe.
Rest in peace.
Maybe they got to bring back the curfews again.
Fuck
that. Might help a lot.
Fuck you, John. Fuck you, John. I just put John on timeout for even fucking mentioning that. Fuck you, Johnny North.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Love it.
You say curfew, you're on timeout, motherfucker. Don't even fucking talk to me about another curfew. My dad says we will not be locked down again in Quebec. And, everybody knows you got to listen to your dad, so I believe him. Angela wants to talk what AEW. So, the Elite beat the Dark Order tonight. Incredible promo and promo video and entrance for Hangman Page with the Dark Order. Tremendous stuff. Tremendous entrance. Hangman's gear to match the Dark Order was beautiful. And then the Elite coming out in the Space Jam jerseys, doing like a basketball Space Jam gimmick with the Y'all Ready for This theme song coming out. It's pretty good. But I really felt the Dark Order entrance. I thought that was great. The match itself was all right. You didn't like it?
The best match we saw tonight. No, it was the best match we saw tonight.
I thought you didn't like it.
I had with it.
Yeah.
I
you were on
with
Twitter.
it, but it was still the best thing.
You were shitting on it on Twitter, and now you're calling it match of the night? Well, explain to me how that works.
Well, you can still have some moments that are kind of awful, but I mean, if you look at everything else on the show, this was the best thing we saw. There was still some good action. It's just there were some parts that were off. I think even you'd agree that some parts were kind of shaky at best. Like, especially the beginning, it was way too frantic where everyone was in for so long. Like, it was just too long.
Young Bucks rules. All their matches are like that.
Too much.
You just got to get used to it.
Too much.
Accept it for what it is. Like, you want them to play by the rules, and you want the referee to get control of the match. Like, fuck, come on. Who cares? It's a show.
It was too ridiculous.
It didn't bother me because, as long as it's fun to watch, I don't really care so much about sticking to the rules in these types of matches when they're not going to stick to the rules. It's chaos, and that AEW is very chaotic. It's a chaotic show. Carl Anderson eliminated Alex Reynolds. Uno eliminated Anderson. Crowd was going nuts for Johnny Hungy. My man, Johnny Hungy. Did you hear that, Johnny North?
There was another problem there, though, too. I mean, this is his big comeback match, and then they cut to commercial, not even picture-in-picture, and then he's already mid-comeback when they come back. Like, that was a mistake on them, more production-wise, but they shouldn't have done that. Like, that took away the momentum a lot of the match, I thought.
The production was bad on this show. I mean, they cut to commercial mid-Moxley promo. Moxley was talking, and it seemed like he was going to talk about Nick Gage and hype us up to, who Nick Gage was, because he knows Jericho, he knows Gage, he's wrestled them both. And they're like, here's Moxley, who knows both men, and he's going to talk about that. He starts talking about Tanahashi and how he wants to wrestle Tanahashi, and then they cut the commercial, and Moxley keeps talking, but no one knows what the fuck he said. I mean, that was really bad. But shit, man, he's doing a promo. At least picture-in-picture, you could see the wrestling action. Moxley's promo, he's in picture-in-picture, and he's just like...
It's funny.
And you're like, what the fuck is he saying, man? Oh, so bad. It looks so stupid, though. Come on, AEW, get your shit together. Was that TSN or was that AEW? I think it was AEW. Right?
I think so, unless it was just us. I'm not sure, but I think it was. I think it was AEW.
I think it was AEW, but I wouldn't put it past TSN to fuck that shit up too, because TSN fucks up a lot. I mean, right? They used to have our show on their fucking channels. They fucked up. They fuck up a lot.
Not the TV channels.
TV channels fuck up a lot too. A lot of jabronis working there. A lot of jabroni. It's a fucking jabroni central, man. Fucking, it's a big scam. Kenny eliminated Evil
Fashion
Uno
Toronto.
with a one-winged angel. Yeah, well, fuck it, man. What are you gonna do? What are they gonna do?
But yeah, that was another thing too. Hangman lost. Like I get it. It makes sense that he lost because I mean he had to face the Bucks and Kenny. Like the odds were completely against him. But now that's it. Like no Dark Order tag title shot. No Kenny. No Kenny versus Hangman. Like that's it. It's kind of sad, but oh well.
I kind of like it though. I like that Hangman doesn't get the match with Kenny. Because the Hangman Kenny program will never go away. They were tag team champions for so long. They've wrestled a few times now. They have this rivalry. It doesn't have to play out to a match at the pay-per-view for the belt right now. Like, we were even talking about it. If Hangman does face Kenny at the pay-per-view, should he be champion? Should he beat him now? Or should he lose and kind of keep chasing? This is just a way for Hangman to keep chasing. I think you could do Kenny versus Christian at the pay-per-view. I think you could do Kenny versus... I don't know. Christian is basically the only one that you could really do at this point in a main event of a pay-per-view for Kenny. Unless you want to... I mean, look, the pay-per-view is what, in September? You could bring back Daniel Bryan. Like, couldn't Daniel Bryan debut sooner rather than later? Couldn't you do Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega at the pay-per-view? It might be a little rushed, but shit. It would be fun, wouldn't it?
You'd have to win like an eliminator tournament, I think, in order for that to make sense in a way, because they say wins and losses matter. So really, I think Christian, you could say Pac as well. There's not too many if it's not going to be Hangman, but like you said, like now is not the time. It's fine. I mean, if he would have won in that situation where he was down 3-1, then it's like, yeah, I mean, give him the title, because like if he can beat them, like he should be champion. But just goes to show you it's not time yet. But that's fine. Like it seemed too early for Kenny to lose the title anyways.
Right.
And I think they probably realized that. So yeah, it makes sense for now.
It made a lot of sense. I liked how the match was built, where it was down to Hangman and Johnny Hungy against the Bucks and Kenny at the end, and then Johnny Hungy, of course, got eliminated. Then it was just Hangman against the Bucks and Kenny. And I like that Hangman couldn't take them all out. I like that he got taken out, because it would have been too much. Like, really, you're going to beat the Bucks and Kenny by yourself? Like, I wouldn't have bought that. And him losing here, I mean, you still love Hangman. You still have that love and sympathy for him even more now. And you want him to get Kenny. So he and the Dark Order weren't able to beat the Elite. Nobody's beaten Hangman in a one-on-one match. He's still the number one ranked guy. He's still technically the number one contender. He doesn't get the match now, but he's going to get it down the road. It's only a matter of time, and the more you build Hangman, the sweeter it's going to be when he finally does beat Kenny and become champion. And if he just beats the Bucks and Kenny tonight and gets the match, well, it's like, okay, you're expecting him to win at the pay-per-view. But now you wonder if he's ever going to do it. But he will. Don't worry, Hangman fans, he will. He's got a lot of time. He just turned 30 years old. I think yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday, Hangman. He's only 30. It's crazy. Imagine what the next 10 years are going to be like for this guy. Top of the world. Triple H's birthday too. Hangman and Triple H have the same birthday. Shout out to the game. Kenny eliminates Hangman with the one-winged angel, which shows I think they did a really good job, because I was so convinced Hangman was going to win. When Kenny hit the one-winged angel, I was like, no, he's going to kick out, even though no one's ever kicked out of it ever. And then, of course, Hangman didn't, which makes sense. I think they did a really good job because we were believing Hangman and the Dark Order, this was going to be their big victory. They were going to get it. And then they don't. I think that's good. I think that's really good storytelling. And long term, it's going to pay off for them. I liked it.
Well, I wonder what's going to happen now with them. Like, what do you do with Hangman? I mean, we already put some ideas for Kenny, but where does Hangman go from here? Now that's a huge question. It's tough to say.
Miro at the pay-per-view?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It seems too early, I think, to put him in another kind of match like that. I think maybe like a big multi-man with the Dark Order again, possibly.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm thinking.
Hangman and Hungy versus... No, I don't know. Something like that. Hangman and Hungy versus the Bucks?
Well, no, because now Dark Order doesn't get a title shot at all, so
Right.
it's not going to be them.
Okay. Pac had a backstage promo. The Lucha Brothers aren't there. Chavo and Andrade show up, and Chavo says Andrade booked them a limo because their car got canceled. And Andrade tells Pac to treat his people better or they will work for someone else. At least I think that's what Andrade said. Thick accent on that Andrade. Little hard to understand.
I think he said he needs to learn how to drive. That's what he said, too, if I'm not
Is
mistaken.
that what he said? I didn't hear that.
I thought that's what I heard, but again, like with the accent, I could be wrong, too. Maybe it wasn't that. Who knows? So we didn't get the subtitles this week, unfortunately.
That's okay. And that was it between Andrade. So Andrade is doing something. He's trying to get Rey Fenix and Pentagon on his team, and Pac is trying to keep them with him. Yeah. Pac versus Andrade one-on-one would be pretty cool with a Lucha Brothers on a pole. Lucha Brothers on a pole match, something, you know? I mean, not that, but...
I'm thinking six-man tag is better, but...
But who would Andrade's partners be? Chavo?
Well, Chavo's one, for sure, yeah. He could still go.
Chavo and?
Yeah, find somebody. They can always find some.
There's somebody
on Dark.
Whatever.
They got so many guys on Dark, no problem.
Yeah, but I don't want just some random guy, especially if it's like a pay-per-view match. But, you know, whatever. We'll see what happens between Pac and Andrade. Taz is on a podium, and then there's a New Orleans-style brass band to introduce the FTW champion Ricky Starks to the ring. And then Ricky Starks shows up, cuts an in-ring promo about how he kept Team Taz together and Brian Cage is the worst. And then Brian Cage shows up and attacks the band for some reason. Then goes after Ricky Starks, and Ricky Starks runs away. So Ricky Starks and Brian Cage still doing their thing. Yeah. Don't care. Hiroshi
kind of awkward. Because, I mean... The whole thing is that they're FTW, right? I mean, I didn't feel like, whole F the world kind of mentality right there when he comes out with that kind of music. But whatever, I guess it's a new kind of way of looking at FTW, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's from Louisiana. It was Louisiana music. It was awkward. It wasn't a great segment. There was nothing that I really liked about that, right? There's nothing redeeming about any of that. The Ricky Starks promo, the Brian Cage showing up. Why was Taz on that weird podium? It was weird. The podium was weird. The band was weird. Brian Cage attacking the band was also weird. Why?
Well, I like Starks' promo, though. I mean, he's clear and to the point, and he comes off as really arrogant. I just feel that he's the better talker, and, Brian Cage doesn't really talk. and you have Taz that can talk, like it would have been better the other way around, like where Stark's the face and Cage was still the heel because you just have Taz do the promos. I think the roles would have worked better reversed, but I guess they believe the big guy should be the face.
Shouldn't the smaller guy be the babyface? But hey, whatever. It's how it usually is, but okay. Hiroshi Tanahashi is a babyface. He could never be a heel. He is the ace. He's a once-in-a-generation talent. He is the man. I love Tanahashi. It was beautiful to see him. Cuts a promo saying he's going to challenge the winner of tonight's IWGP United States Championship match between Lance Archer and Hikuleo. I was very excited to see Tana on AEW TV. However, he's not actually going to wrestle on AEW TV. That match, Tanahashi for the IWGP US title, will be on New Japan Television, available on New Japan World. So don't get excited about Tanahashi actually showing up in AEW. That was just a promo. That was just a tease. Dirty tease by Tony Khan, making me think Tanahashi is going to show up in AEW. And then Excalibur has to break the news to us later in the show. Like, that was a little underhanded. I didn't like that too much.
Well, I didn't look at it like that. I just saw it as cross-promotion. Like,
yeah,
you know, New Japan, they've allowed the title being defended on their show. They give them talent for them to use, so is AEW giving them the favor back, so should be happy you got the promo to begin with.
Yeah, I guess, you know, it's cool. I like the New Japan talent exchange. I like the Forbidden Door. I like all that. I like seeing Hikuleo tonight. I like hearing that cool Bullet Club music. Hikuleo with his father, Haku, a.k.a. Ming. Haku showing up. And he was in his son's corner for the match, and it was kind of cool. Lance Archer beats Hikuleo via pinfall after the blackout to retain the IWGP US title that he just won by beating Jon Moxley last week. So he didn't think he would lose here to Hikuleo. But it was cool to see Hikuleo show up. But I think you kind of saw why he's not a bigger star in pro wrestling tonight in that match. Giant guy, son of Haku. But once the bell rings, you know, he's still young, though. He's quite green. He hasn't wrestled for that long. And hopefully one day he will become great. But that match itself was not anything special.
Well, I think it was nice that his dad was there. You know, he did the Tonga Death Grip on the outside. That was a nice little spot, but really that was the only thing I took away from that match.
Yeah. Not much there. Not much there. All right, Cody Rhodes is interviewed at the production table. Malachi Black attacks him and kicks him in the head. Some agents and people show up. Black hit the kick on Fuego del Sol. Fuego getting a mention and an appearance on Dynamite. Good for him. It'll be Cody versus Malachi next week at AEW Homecoming in Jacksonville, Florida. Aren't you excited to see AEW back at Daly's place? Like, goddamn, pal. It's been like 4 weeks, and now they're back? Why? Anyways, they're back in Jacksonville next week. Cody versus Malachi Black. You got to imagine Malachi wins that one. Miro, who cut a promo about nothing really tonight, he defends the TNT title against Lee Johnson next week. The Bunny will wrestle Leela Hirsch in an NWA title eliminator. And Christian Cage versus The Blade, and Chris Jericho versus Juventud Guerrera. I mean, Cody versus Aleister Black could be all right. Jericho versus Air Hoovy could be good. The rest of this show doesn't seem up to par with the past few weeks of AEW TV, does it?
Well, I think you could say the same almost for this week as well. Except for maybe, I thought maybe FTR and like Santana and Ortiz. Everything else was just kind of okay at best. Like, you know, Thunder Rosa, Julia Hart, it was okay, but I mean, you could tell it's a bit of a mismatch there.
Yeah, but the Nick Gage thing just added buzz to it. It wasn't so much of, you know, what it actually delivered. It was more the hype going into it. The hype going into next week is basically non-existent. And you're saying FTR versus Santana and Ortiz, you really like that, but you called the opener, the 10-man elimination tag, your match of the night, which I agreed with. I thought the opener was probably the best overall match that we saw tonight.
Well, I think what hurt that tag match was the finish.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you saw Cash got hurt.
Of course.
So then they had to change the finish, and that was unfortunate because you could tell things were off right away.
Man, that was nasty looking. Cash goes up to the top rope. He falls down, and it looks like he hit his arm on like a metal piece somewhere between the turnbuckle and the ring post, right? There's something there that cut him, and it was a deep gash on his arm. And as soon as he came down on the apron, I kind of paused and I saw it was like a deep gash. There was some conversation. They went to the finish very quickly. Cash just kind of outside, keeping pressure on the wound. It looked really, really bad. You could see the panic on his face right away, like, holy shit, this is bad. I'm done here. And, yeah, the match was really building up and was a lot of fun, and I was really enjoying it. But, unfortunately, that Cash injury kind of accelerated the finish, and I don't think we got the complete match that we were supposed to. I hope Cash is okay. That was fucking scary looking. Because you see, like, it wasn't like, oh, shit, I'm bleeding, and the referee's like, no. It was like, boom, oh, shit, I got busted really bad. It's a deep gash. And he's, like, down on the floor. He's like, I'm done. And then the match was, like, over. It was scary.
Well, you could tell the referee was like in deep conversations with everybody afterwards, saying like, "Look, you need to change it up." I think he was probably talking to Tony Khan probably backstage as well, in the headset, like just saying like, "Okay, you have to go to this now and all this." Like you could kind of him almost mouth it, almost like, "Okay, wrap it up."
You had to wrap it up at that point. Probably some stitches or whatever you do for that. That looks looked really painful. That was the most painful thing that I saw on the show tonight, right? Like, Jericho was bleeding more, but not that deep. It's not it's not the amount of blood. It's the depth of the gash, right?
Well, I always say it's when they bleed, like, for real, when they don't plan to bleed, that's always the worst ones,
Yes.
Because the unexpected, blading is not the best.
Harold Schneider dropping a super chat saying, "Cash for Cash, get well soon." Yeah. Hopefully Cash Wheeler is all right and it's not too bad of an injury there. I don't know what you do for that. I mean, I guess stitches, right? I don't know what the healing process is for something like that. How long would that take before he can wrestle again? Because it was
you
like
got to worry about nerve damage too. You never know.
Yeah. Oof.
I mean, if it was that deep, you never know. So, I mean,
it was scary.
You'll have to take, you'll probably be in the hospital. So, wait and see.
I was more worried for him there than I was for Jericho when he had a pizza slicer on his head, Pizza slicer.
Well, I just worry because Jericho, I mean, he's over 50. So, I mean, to go through that, I mean, that's rough for him. Like,
yeah.
He shouldn't do it, but he does it,
It's the Painmaker, baby. Christian, Luchasaurus, and the Boy of Jungle had Marco Stunt with them there in their corner. They beat Angelico and the Private Party with Matt Hardy. At one point, Christian ran backstage, seemed to abandon his team just to chase off Matt Hardy. Marco Stunt was also chasing Matt Hardy, but Christian was like, you're no good. I'm going to do it with you. They both chased him away, and he ran off, right? Like, why? If Marco Stunt is there chasing him, why did Christian have to do it too? Shouldn't Christian just stay in the match?
Well, Marco Stunt's kind of useless, so I get it.
And his shoe fell off when he was running to the thing. When he was chasing Matt Hardy, his shoe fell off, Marco Stunt. He couldn't even run. He's tiny.
Yeah, he is. And, he tries hard, but, I mean, it's hard to take him seriously. Like, it's really hard to get behind him, I find.
He does some cool flips.
Right, but I mean, in a match though, like to believe that he could actually beat a lot of guys. I mean, you can tell with his record, they don't let him beat a lot of guys because it's not very believable.
Well, yeah. But, WWE has Reginald. AEW has Marco Stunt. Similar.
It's a fair point, fair point. Well, I mean, Reginald, it's more Cirque du Soleil. It's a different kind of thing you're talking about, but sure.
It's a small guy who doesn't look intimidating, who just flips around. It's basically
Right.
the same shit.
Different kind of flips. Different
Yeah.
flips, but yes.
Reginald's are actually more impressive. But Marco Stunt seems more like a wrestler.
Right, yeah.
Anyways. So Christian hit a frog splash on Mark Quinn to get the win for his team. And then the Blade appeared and hit Christian with brass knuckles after the match to set up their match. The Blade versus Christian next week. Another match for Christian to win. I really do think it's going to be Christian versus Kenny at the pay-per-view. Now that it's not Hangman, Christian makes the most sense.
I hope so. I find Christian's having some of the best matches right now, so I think it should be Christian. I think him and Kenny would be a fantastic match, I think.
Yeah, now's the time to do it, too. No reason to wait. And Thunder Road,
bigger opponents though. Like the Blade, he's okay, but it's not like top tier. Christian's got to beat some top tier guys now.
Who does he have to beat to face Kenny?
Well, if he could beat a guy like Moxley, I think that would be great for him. Like he should beat a top guy like that.
Moxley's kind of a babyface though. You kind of need a strong heel to go up against Christian, but is there a strong heel right now that's kind of like upper mid card that Christian could beat?
I guess MJF.
Yeah, but MJF is doing his thing with Jericho. Christian's not going to beat him now. MJF isn't going to wrestle until he wrestles Jericho. MJF never wrestles. Somebody that's not involved, it's not going to be MJF, and you know it. So who's it going to be, right?
I think you didn't mean to do that, but it's fun.
Oh, I did. I did mean to do that.
Okay.
He's also better than you, and you know it.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they have too many faces when you think about it. I mean, when you think of top tier guys, but it makes sense too that they have faces because you want faces right now because Kenny's the heel champion, so it makes sense to have all the top face guys as contenders. But Christian needs to beat a top guy. Whether it's Darby Allin, Moxley, he's got to beat one of those guys.
All baby faces, though. They have a lot of strong baby faces. They have a lot of good challenges for Kenny. Darby Allin kind of makes sense.
I could see that. I don't know about right now, but yeah, possibly in the future.
Not a lot of strong heels in AEW, right? You think about it,
well,
you got
yes and no.
Kenny on top, MJF doing his thing, Miro. I think Miro is one of the top heels in their company right now. But who else is really there as a strong heel? They don't have that many guys. Matt Hardy's not that strong of a heel. Christian already beat him. Lance Archer's not even a heel. Ricky Starks, no. I guess. You know what I mean? Christian could maybe beat Ricky Starks to get the shot. Andrade, but Andrade's not going to lose. He's kind of a strong heel kind of coming up, but I think Christian is just going to wind up beating a Carl Anderson or a Doc Gallows to get the match. Or both.
It helps a little bit, but again, it seems like he's being more of the mid-card kind of guys. But I guess in terms of going against Kenny, to beat the Elite to get to Kenny, that makes a little bit more sense.
It's a weird spot that Christian is in. It's a weird spot that AEW's put themselves in now. Not having Hangman go up against Kenny, but I like it. And I think Christian versus Kenny is the match to make for All Out. Their next pay-per-view in September, but we'll see. Cody for sure loses to Malachi Black next week, right?
Well, you just talked about having strong like heels. I mean, yeah, you
Oh
kind of need
yeah.
to build up a new strong heel, so it makes sense for Cody to lose. I think Cody realizes this too. Like he needs to help build up like the roster in a sense.
Yeah. Makes sense. Miro defending the TNT title against Lee Johnson. Yeah, right, Lee Johnson. The Bunny versus Layla Hirsch in an NWA title eliminator. So the winner gets an NWA title shot, I guess, on Dynamite. Who's the NWA Women's Champion? Is it still Serena Deeb?
No, she lost. It's Camille now.
Oh.
Yeah,
Is she going to be on AEW? That's fun.
I imagine. No, I think they're probably going to have the match in NWA more than likely.
Oh.
I could see it actually because they're going to have an all women's pay per view, right? So that might be the match for the pay per view, possibly.
Oh.
Super chat. Super chat.
Okay. Christian Cage versus The Blade. Christian for sure wins. And then Chris Jericho versus Juventud Guerrera. I mean, come on. Jericho's going to win that too. So that's next week on AEW Dynamite. Thunder Rosa beat Julia Hart tonight. Thunder was super over. The crowd is really behind Thunder Rosa. The match was, whatever. Julia Hart.
It's a veteran. Veteran against a rookie. I mean, Julia Hart's only 19, so I mean,
What? Is she
like, she's
really
good
that
for,
young?
yeah. Like she just started like in wrestling, so I mean, given her limited amount of experience, it's pretty good. But again, like, Thunder Rosa, again, the level of experience is just that's lopsided.
Yeah. Well, obviously she was
it's
going to
hard
win.
for that kind of match.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
19. She's 19? Jeez.
so you got a lot of time there. A lot of potential.
She looked young, but I didn't think she was that young. To be in the ring on TV, that's wild. And it's good to see Thunder Rosa now a contracted wrestler for AEW. She's not kind of in between NWA, on loan, whatever. She's in AEW. You got to imagine Thunder versus Britt is the match to make for the pay-per-view.
Well, the problem is though, Britt's wrist is injured though. So, I mean, maybe, hopefully, like she's recovered by then, but wait and see, I guess. I mean, I don't see Britt wrestling anytime soon. In the meantime, they're probably just going to build up Thunder more than likely.
Yeah, Britt's broken wrist. I don't know how long that keeps her out of action. We'll see. But I'm really happy to see Thunder Rosa full-time in AEW. I think Thunder Rosa is a great talent. One of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. Just incredible. And a huge signing for AEW. Like, really good. Really good, because they need more talent there, and she is one of the best in the world today. And she's proven it in AEW. She's already familiar with the audience, I think she's going to be great in the next 5 to 10 years with AEW. She's going to do big things, have big matches. She'll be the champion one day there, too. Without a doubt, right? Now that she's signed, Thunder Rosa is going to be the champion. That was always my thing with Thunder Rosa. It's like, yeah, she's really good, but, is she on the show permanently? And now she is, which is good. We can really invest in watching her. People want an update on the Super Chat. Doug Hepburn just dropped the Super Chat. He says, who's the Super Chat leader? Who? Kind of like the New Day. And it is you, Doug. It is Doug. Doug is the Super Chat leader. And you can see the Super Chat leader on the screen at all times. Today's Super Chat leader, you see it right where, see that down there? Down that way? Yeah, see it?
Mm-hmm.
See? Today's Super Chat leader, Doug Hepburn. I saw Brian Firth wanted an update. Brian was the leader before the show started because he Super Chatted before the show started. Then Angelo took over, as he often does. Then Harold dropped one, but Doug just took over as the leader. Uh-oh. And here comes Angelo.
Super chat.
Right on cue. Angelo drops Super Chat, says, I can get behind Thunder Rosa. I can too. Wait, what do you mean by that? As a wrestler, right? Like not.
You said it too, so you're implying yourself as well. This one.
Well, it's just the way he's. Oh, did I say that?
You said I can too. So
Oh. Yeah. It's just the way I can get behind Thunder Rosa. Can you now? Angelo, I think, yeah, he's the new Super Chat leader of the night. Thank you, Angelo. I mean, only if Thunder would consent to that, and obviously.
yeah, you might want to talk to her husband about that too.
Yeah, he'd probably want to fight you, I would assume. Sorry, I don't mean to disrespect Thunder Rosa in any way. She is a great wrestler. It's just the way Angelo's Super Chat was worded. I had to make that joke. It happens. Okay?
Well, I mean, she could probably kick your butt, so always take that in consideration. Strong possibility. Strong.
Mine?
Very strong.
Mine? Me.
Yeah.
You sure?
Dude, I'd be worried for myself too. Like, she's tough, dude. Like, I would be worried, man. She's legit. You can say what you want that she lost her only MMA fight, but still, like, she's still pretty tough, man.
Yeah, sure. She's tough. She's 0-1 in MMA. She's definitely tough pro wrestler. But she's like 115 pounds and 5'3".
Right? I'd still worry.
Yeah, all right, John. Well, you might worry, but I've been doing martial arts for a long time. I'm not a pro wrestler, John. I don't do pretend fighting. I've been doing martial arts for most of my adult life now. Most of my life at this point. So I'm just saying, it might be interesting. Harold Schneider dropping the super chat. Thank you, Harold. And now Harold is the leader. Good God Almighty. Do we have a battle going on? Harold Schneider just took the lead.
Like it.
We had quite a battle on Monday night, and I think we might have a little battle on our hands now. Harold is the leader. People want to know where Glenn is. Glenn, I actually don't know where he is. I think he's teaching jiu-jitsu. I think he is teaching at his school. At his jiu-jitsu school. I actually haven't heard from him today. I texted him a few hours ago, but I think he's probably doing jiu-jitsu because he has not responded to me. So he's probably on the mats or in a hot tub with ladies. I don't know. But I think
Super chat.
I think Glenn will be back at some point. I think. I hope. Yeah, no, I know he will be. Glenn will be back at some point, possibly on an AEW Dynamite post show, but I don't know. We'll work on it. I'll talk to him. I just didn't I didn't get a chance to talk to him today, so we didn't set it up, but because his gym was closed for so long, he had Wednesday nights open, but now I think he's teaching more, so he's going to be more busy and stuff, so. All right. People dropping super chats now. The battle is on. Angelo drops a super chat. He says, I meant I'll be rooting for her. I know, Angelo. I know. Doug Hepburn drops a super chat, and he says, I'm better than you, and you know it. But Angelo is still the super chat leader. God bless. Good stuff. John, any final words? I think we're going to let Angelo be the winner tonight of this super chat battle. That was wild. Doug Hepburn was like, we had different leaders at different times. Brian started in the lead, then Angelo, then Doug, then Harold, and now back to Angelo. Quite a battle. Oh, Glenn just texted me. He says, literally just got in, gonna watch it now.
Well, he means Dynamite?
Yeah, Dynamite. People are asking about you on YouTube now. I just texted him back.
It's great that we live in this era where you can just text back and forth.
That's right. So Glenn just texted me. He was at his academy, possibly at a hot tub party afterwards with several ladies. And he's just going to watch Dynamite now. So he'll probably catch up with us at some point post-Dynamite. We'll talk to him. And that's it. Is that it?
Sounds about right. Until next week. Same time next time, kiddos.
What do you mean next week? Aren't you going to be on with me like Friday?
Well, I mean for Dynamite, AEW. I mean, that's a totally different subject. Glenn's not on SmackDown, is he? Like, unless I was mistaken.
Why are we talking about Glenn so much? What are you?
Because you're texting him right now.
Oh, he says he'll be back. He's just been building back his jiu-jitsu army. Shout out to Angelo. You are the super chat leader. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, maybe Glenn could come on a SmackDown post show, but I don't think he watches SmackDown. I think AEW is the only wrestling he's got the appetite for. I watch SmackDown and Raw, and they've been all right. But if they go back to the Thunderdome, fuck it. It's over. I'll be back tomorrow night to talk MMA. Some UFC talk with my boys Freddie and AJ. Fresh off the pool party on the weekend, the Ringside Report team back in action on Thursday night. That's right, Johnny. This past Sunday, Freddie, AJ, and myself were just chilling in a pool all together, hanging out, pool party. How do you like that?
That's nice.
That's
nice.
It was good. It was good. A lot of kids running around. A lot of kids. See AJ and
That
Freddie.
doesn't sound like fun.
What do you mean? Doesn't sound like fun. It was fun. It's always fun, John. All right. That's it. That's all. I'm back tomorrow night. We're going to talk about UFC. Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland are fighting on Saturday. Bellator's got a big show as well. They got Pitbull versus McKee coming up on Saturday. So we will be back tomorrow night. I'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Ringside Report MMA. Then Friday night after SmackDown in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And, yeah, after Raw, after SmackDown, after Dynamite, all those things. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Angelo, thank you. You are the super chat leader of the night. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis out in Laval, Quebec. Doug Hepburn as well. Shout out to Doug. Thank you for super chatting, Doug, out in Kingston. Thank you to Harold Schneider. I think you're in Montreal. I don't really know Harold, but shout out to you. And also, of course, Brian Firth, my man out in Saskatchewan. We are working on the Veer Venus shirt for you, Brian. And that's it. I'll be back again tomorrow night. Okay? Okay.